Some of that people. I remember last time a lot of people jumped on about 620.
Mm-hmm.
That one still has service.
No, it doesn't have service. Just the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
This one was already connected to the Wi-Fi here, so.
Oh, it stays automatically connected then.
Yeah.
That's just your. That's not the real glass on the phone. That's actually the other one.
Hmm?
So that's not the real glass. That's the piece that goes over top. That's cracked.
No, that's actual glass.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go.
Ooh, Petra Reed made another bogey coming backwards. It's gonna be a dog fight, man. It's gonna be exciting. Jordan Spieth is at 4 under. You know, Jordan Spieth is 25 years old. He's played in 4 Masters. He's got the best. Bubba Watson's at 3 under. Oh man. Oh, it'd be great to see him win. Oh man, I just love golf. I love to watch it. I can't believe people think it's boring. I love to play it too, dude. Blisters on my hand to prove it.
All right. Okay, we're just gonna wait a few more minutes and have some people jump on.
Generation hat on.
Sure.
There you go.
If it
There
fits.
you go. You should take that home with you. There you go. We got your new Power Generation hat. Man, oh man. There you go.
Can't see me.
Can't see the.
Right, it's too
well,
bright.
Put it back up there. It'll be our thing in the window.
Yeah. All right. Where's everybody at? It's Friday. It's Friday night. And it feels so right. Yeah. I wonder if 7 p.m. would be a better time.
People are home then.
Mm.
So I always wonder about the time. You know, it's how do you maximize the people's chances of being? We can change it to 7. We'll do 7 o'clock next week.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm.
Because this way people can get home.
Yeah. Get out of that traffic on I-4.
Oh my God! I got that rat race. Oh, I don't like it anymore. I don't know if Tiger's gonna make the cut, dude.
Where is he at now?
Cut's at +5. Oh, he's at +4. So he's he's 1 above. So he's actually made a birdie somewhere.
Okay. It feels so right. Let me get a little closer so we can get in this frame. All right. Who do we have on? Who do we have on right now? Who do we have on right now? Right now. This thing is way back. See, that was delayed. It feels so right. Yeah. Todd, what's going on? What's the best way to invest $1,000? That's a good question.
I'm gonna write that down right now.
All right, we'll answer that for you, Todd, in a little bit. So we don't forget. We got it written down.
Is that going to be long term or short term?
All right. Let's post Todd's question here so people can see it. Yep. Ever feel so right? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Todd, go ahead and invite some people on here and get on this live on tonight.
Short term. Okay.
Short term, okay. All right. And we finna get started in about a minute. About a minute, we'll get started. We shall get started. We're gonna get started. Shall get started. Yeah. Started. Yeah. Started. Yeah. Started. Yeah. Started. Yeah. Tax day is April 17th.
Sure is. Next week.
Yep.
Actually, not the following Tuesday.
Yep.
Man.
April 17th. All right. Then, of course, if you're having a business LLC, you need to file your articles of incorporation, or not file, but I guess you call it file or re-register, whatever it is, yearly before May 1st, or it's going to be a $400 late fee, or you lose the name of your business.
That's good to know. I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yeah. You lose the name of your business. And I mean, that's one way to avoid the $400 fee and just pay the $125 to do a new one. I know from experience. But yeah, definitely make sure you're on top of that and refile your articles of incorporation. All right. And all right, so here we go. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to How Real Money Works with Joe and John.
Good evening.
How Real Money Works with Joe and John, right? How Real Money Works with Joe. That's me.
I'm John Paul.
And John. Yes. And tonight we're excited to talk about taxes, just everything about taxes. But the main thing we want to talk about is the different things that you can do to pretty much beat the tax trap, all right, and pay less taxes and get more back in your pocket, in your bank account, because that's what matters. What matters is how much money is going to your pocket, not the IRS's pocket. I said pocket.
Well, they'll park
right?
the money for sure. All right.
They will park the money in their pocket. That's for sure. But one thing we know is we can't get away from taxes, right? We cannot get away from taxes. If you're working and you're doing something legal, all right, if you're earning income legally, then definitely you have to pay taxes. You can't get around that. But obviously there are many things, and there are some legal ways, legal loopholes of how you can pay less taxes, or sometimes no taxes at all. All right. I don't know how to do that. Maybe someday I can ask the President Trump how he did it.
Right.
But
I know how he did it. I know how he did it.
You know how he did it?
I have an idea how he did it.
Okay, John has an idea of how do you think he did it?
Well, I think how he paid less taxes, because he really should be paying a higher tax bracket, don't you think?
Right.
But the way he actually paid less taxes was he purchased businesses that were going out of business and kept them afloat by his income. That way he bought businesses, got them back in business, so he used it as a tax reduction to his tax liability. That's the way you make more money.
That's the way. Okay, so because the businesses were going under.
Yep.
Obviously, he bought them at a discount.
Right. Sure. Bought them on favor. Yep.
And so, how does that
benefit him?
Yeah.
Because let's say he has $1 million profit, and he buys a business for $300,000. He lowered his tax liability by $300,000.
Nice. So, okay. And how can we do that? Obviously not buying.
Obviously not buying a business.
Okay. I think you're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Exactly. Yeah, talk about that. Exactly.
Awesome. So we're talking about how to escape. Okay, how to escape the tax trap, or how to beat the tax trap. I can't talk tonight. How to beat the tax trap and pay less taxes and get more back. All right. So, first of all, let's talk about how does taxes work. Well, first it begins with the beautiful form that most of you will fill when you start a job, or when you choose to just change the way your job or the IRS taxes you through your job, and that's the W-4 form.
Correct. That's right.
All right. So you actually get the choice, right? You get the choice, not necessarily to get taxed or not, but you get the choice of how much or how little should the IRS tax you. Now, that can work in your favor,
correct,
or it can work against you. Now, one way it can work in your favor is by pretty much if you lower your tax. I guess what do you call that? Your tax.
You increase your exemptions on the W-4, right, which then give you a higher income in your paycheck, right, so
which
you
is
take out
good.
Less taxes.
Which is good.
Absolutely.
You on whether you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, you're gonna get bigger checks. But at the same time, that means at the end of the year,
correct, you'll get less money back.
You'll get less money back.
Yeah.
And you may even have to pay money.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, there's a saying: if you get a refund from the IRS, what you did was you gave them an interest-free loan for 13 months. That's not something that we've heard about a lot of times, because we're always so excited about getting money back. But if you think about it, when they give you money back, that just means that you overpaid them for the months that they held your money.
Wow.
That's 13 months.
13 months. Interest-free.
Right. Interest-free loan.
Wow. So if they say they tax me over the course of the year, they tax me for a total of $4,000. That was $4,000 the government just held
for you.
And maybe who knows what they did with it.
Well, the good thing is they probably just keep it underneath the counters at the IRS building. I'm just kidding. They don't keep it there. But if you think about it, where are they going to keep the money? They got the money that you're giving them every month. Every time they take out money out of your paycheck, you give it to them. Are they just going to keep it around there? No, the government actually invests the money in certain investment vehicles that a lot of time the consumer can get their hands on themselves.
Wow.
So if you can get your hands on those investment vehicles, instead of getting that money back at the end of the year, it's more advantageous to get that money during your paycheck, so you have more of it now, and then you can save it instead of getting a big tax refund. In fact, it's better to pay than to receive in the tax side.
Okay. Man, that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard for people to.
It really is
to take that in. It's better to I guess to pay the IRS at the end.
That's correct.
At the end, not
now.
Throughout.
Yeah.
Not throughout the year, but at the end, than it is to receive a bigger return. So what we're saying is this: is if you have the need to change your W-4 form to where you're getting more money now, or more money on a weekly basis, or bi-weekly, definitely do that. But just know that at the end, okay, you'll get less back, or you may have to pay a little bit more to the IRS. But again, if that depends on your lifestyle and some, whatever responsibilities that you have when it comes to just, paying your bills and different expenses that you have on a monthly basis. Now, if you don't have those needs and those responsibilities, then maybe you can decrease your exemptions,
right?
and actually get a lesser check or lesser check, but in the end, you're gonna get a bigger return from the IRS.
Well, I think we also have to understand is sometimes it's based on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Because if we are talking to the 30-year-old person, then their bigger concern doesn't lie with getting money back now. It's going to deal with when they're 65 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and unfortunately, we as individuals, we can't see 30 years down the road because we're not thinking there.
Right.
Now, if we're talking to a 55-year-old, a 60-year-old person, they don't need to really be messing with their W-4s.
Right.
Because they're close to retirement, they're going to get it. But someone young like yourself or
with
kids need to really focus on adjusting their exemptions because that will give you more money now. Then you can do what with it? You can fund your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You can put money away for your kids' education. You could pay off some debts. See, the thing is that we have to understand is the problem lies anyone younger than the age of 50 years old is that they run the risk of not being the benefactor of Social Security.
Yeah. That's a true phenomenon.
And that's a whole other training we can do. Which is so good.
That's a whole other video we could do just on Social Security. Or what you like
we
to
call
say.
it social insecurity, right?
Social insecurity.
That's right. See, a lot of times as individuals, we don't ever think like that because no one sat us down and talked about it because that doesn't make anybody any money, right? Social Security doesn't make anybody money. What Social Security does is it does affect the way you live when you're older.
Right.
So we have to understand is based on who we're talking to. So in other words, before you go adjust your W-4s, maybe send Joe a question on his Facebook or ask us, hey, what do you recommend in these areas? And then we might have to want to look at your case and your situation and see if it does make sense or not.
Right.
Because adjusting that could be detrimental to your income. Because understand when you do adjust that, it does give you more money in your paycheck. But what happens when we get more money now? We have a tendency to do what?
Spend it now.
See how that works? We get more and we spend more.
We spend more.
But we should be conscious to know that if we change our W-4 and we get an extra $100 back, we should do something with it. In fact, Joe, I did some research and I was looking it up. What was the average tax return for last year? No, so we're talking about 2017. The average tax return is already out. They say the average tax return is $3,120 a year. Now you might be thinking, that sounds good. That was me. That wasn't me. But let's just envision if that was an individual that got $3,000 at the end of the year. Now, majority of people that get $3,000 back at the end of the year, do you think they just take it and save it?
No. It's time to ball.
Right? I got to pay this off. I want to take this trip. I mean, there's so many things that we can do with that money because we've never been programmed how to make that work for us.
No, let me say that I'm gonna be transparent here real quick and say that that's something I've done. I would say I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. It was a good trip. But when I came back, when I came back and I sat down and talked to you, John, I was like, I said it was a great trip. It was a trip for me and my wife's 5th year anniversary. But when I looked at what was spent during that trip, I was like, man, I could have did better.
Sure.
I was like, I could have did better. I could have instead of going overseas, I could have went. I could have stayed local. Maybe I went to another state or something like that and spend maybe half of what I spent going abroad. I've been talking about 6 people in total.
Right.
It was very, very expensive, but again, at the time, I wasn't thinking like that.
Right.
And that's something I think we all go through is, we get the money and we're like, ooh, before we get it, we already know, 5 different things that the money's going to be spent on. And not necessarily, think, further down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's called financial coaching. All it is, you have a workout coach, you got all these kind of coaches, but most people don't have a financial coach.
Right.
Because they think, a financial coach costs money, and they do cost money. And don't get me wrong, because people that have knowledge, you should pay for it.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But however, the good thing about our knowledge is, I don't think anyone's paying for it. Right? In fact, we ain't got no money yet. They are.
Free. You're not paying anything to hear this, to watch this. And Facebook is still free as far as we know. So it definitely, and also there's a lot of knowledge online and everything that you can find, but you do need someone who have real knowledge and real experience in that area that can sit with you at your kitchen table in your living room and kind of break things down for you personally for your situation.
Right. Well, a lot of times that when we're talking about tax credits and we focus on tax deductions, a lot of times we get put in these investment vehicles called a 401k or a 403b, and those might be good vehicles for the right person.
Right.
Because if we're talking to a certain demographic,
or at the right time.
At the right time. So if we're talking to the right kind of person, if you're younger than 50 years old, a 401k or a 403b might not be the best tax deferred vehicle for you.
Whoa.
See, we're thinking that's because remember the jobs push what 401ks, 403bs, and they mean certain things for certain corporations. But the problem you have is that the return on those are not as high as you'd like them to be because you have to go through a corporation to get that product.
Okay.
That means there's what? Fees.
There's fees, yeah.
That you can't see. So a lot of times we want to focus on is how do we get the best benefit? Well, the real true best benefit is having a business.
Right.
Because a business has tax deductions.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
Before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yep.
Let me say, go ahead and finish.
Okay, you're right.
You were talking about the
$3,000.
last year, the $3,000.
So let's envision that each person that got that $3,000 tax credit instead, or that tax refund, they did that adjustment to W-4. So maybe they increased an exemption or two exemptions in the year. So be a great thing to do at the beginning of the year to see how much it changes.
Okay.
Then that $3,000 breaks down to $260 a month extra in your paycheck.
Okay.
So let's envision you get $260 a month, and you take that $260 a month, and you're at the age of 30 years old, okay? So we're a middle-class family, middle-class person, just one person. So they take that $260 a month, and they invest it into a Roth IRA.
Okay.
And a Roth IRA is called a tax-free investment.
A tax-free investment.
Right. So let's envision that $260 a month.
Does that mean the money goes in there tax-free, or does that mean when I take the money out, it's tax-free?
Actually, both. It goes in after taxes, so in other words, you're not taxed on the principal.
Okay.
And it does have IRS rules, so it is a long-term investment vehicle. So we have to clarify that because we don't want someone putting it in today and taking it out tomorrow.
Right.
Because there's no benefit there. That's not short-term. That's a long-term.
So that's a long-term. Okay, long-term.
So exactly. So let's just envision you put that $260 a month in there. And then run the calculation on how much you would have put in. So you put that $260 a month in there for 30 years. And so after 30 years, that investment will have grown to $927,000. So what is
$260
a month for 30 years?
30 years.
And over those 30 years, you'll have invested $93,860.
Okay.
So
that's the principal.
That's your principal. And the gains after 30 years was at $927,000. So when you start taking income,
that's on top of the principal. That's
correct. Wow. So what it made $833,000 in interest plus your principal.
That's what I put into it.
You put in $93,000 and it made $833,000 of profit.
Okay.
So the total balance after 30 years is $927,000. So that means when you start taking retirement at 60 years old, because now you're after 59 and a half.
Right.
You will never pay taxes on that money ever.
And that's the IRS rule that you were.
That's the IRS regulation.
Regulation that you were talking about.
That's correct.
That type of account is once you start investing into it, you have to wait
till 59 and a half,
so you can withdraw from that account without any penalties.
Correct. Okay. Which is important because you don't want to put your money in a vehicle that could be penalized if you take it out too soon.
Right.
So if a person has that interest and they want to save money away from an IRA, a Roth IRA, they would do what is called a regular individual account because it doesn't have rules with the IRS.
Okay.
You just pay taxes on what it makes in the year.
Okay. And that one you said, going back to the taxes, that one actually helps.
Is the Roth IRA or the individual? The regular. Well, you see, a lot of times people think especially this comes up when people do their taxes, Joe. So when you're sitting down with a tax person, there's always a question that comes up. Would you like to fund an IRA to reduce your tax liability? You remember that when you're doing taxes, or even when you've seen taxes done. Well, what happens is that's called a traditional IRA. So, which that's not what we're talking about. Because let's just envision this. Let's say that your tax guy says to do that, and you have an extra $3,000 sitting in your bank account, and you do that. So you automatically get excited because your tax liability goes down,
Right.
which is a good thing now. So
Right.
yeah, woohoo, we get the tax credit, right? But what we don't understand is that money goes into what is called a traditional IRA, which means it will be taxed when you take the money out.
Okay.
So now if the money if the money got funded from your bank account, that means you already paid taxes once.
Yeah.
And when you take it out in the future, when you're old enough, you get taxed again. So now you pay taxes twice.
Wow.
So you got to be very careful. We have to make sure that even though the tax person may say put it into a traditional IRA, that's not really the advantageous vehicle. A Roth IRA is always the best vehicle for anyone under the age of 50 years old.
Wow. Look, right now, anybody who's watching, this is some great information. Do me a favor, share this with anybody that you know can use some of this good information, because that is key. So we're talking about not just, again, you see how the conversation started with just taxes, right? And how we can lower, we can have a better sort of a better tax a tax system for us individually. Again, we talk about if you want to lower your taxable your taxable income or increase your taxable income, all that's going to do is going to determine whether you get a bigger check now and have to get a less return, or it could means that you get a smaller check and later on you have a bigger return when you file your taxes. Now, what are some ways? What are some things that we can do? We can do to pretty much to make sure that IRS is not taking all of our money.
Well, I mean, remember, you can't avoid the IRS. So let's not do the wrong thing and try to cheat them out of their money, okay? Because we have to pay our taxes,
right?
But the reality,
that's how the country runs on our taxes,
and they're going to run even though that we're the younger generation, we're going to be paying taxes forever so that the elderly can live. So in other words, let's not try to hurt that, all right? Because that system will get messed up. What we want to do is we want to protect ourselves on how we can protect our future, and unfortunately, the government didn't create a lot of vehicles. Okay, they didn't create a lot of investment vehicles that you can choose. You can only choose one vehicle, and that's the Roth IRA. There's no other thing that was created. You can, if you have a business, you can do a SEP IRA, which stands for Self-Employment Pension Plan, which lowers your tax liability.
Okay.
If a person has
the self-employed people,
a SEP IRA. In fact, you can put up to $54,000 a year into that.
Wow.
And lowers your tax liability. So let's envision if you make $100,000, it's usually it's either $54,000 or 20%.
Okay.
So if you make $100,000, you can put $20,000 into a SEP IRA, which lowers your taxes by $20,000. That means you only pay taxes on $80,000.
So now you're only paying taxes on $100. Oh, and $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. You're paying tax on $80,000. See, and a lot of times people don't know that because they're dealing with tax people that aren't financial advisors. So your financial advisor would know that because I'm not a tax guy. I have a friend who does taxes, right? I don't like taxes, right? I just know how to win the tax game, all right?
So let me clarify something for you guys. So we're talking about taxable income, right? Taxable income. Taxable income is pretty much it's the income that you make, and the government is able to tax you on that income. Now, let's say your taxable income is $50,000. Let's use that number. It's a big, and it's not too big, it's not too small. So your taxable, after the government owns deductions and credits, your taxable income now let's say it's down to $30,000. Okay, so now that $30,000 is what the IRS is going to tax you on.
Correct.
So now with that $30,000, if there are still things you can do with that $30,000 to make sure that you increase or decrease your taxable income, and some of the things you're talking about is obviously one of the main number one way is opening a business.
Of course, yeah, and like I say, we're talking about individuals, business owners, employees. We always said the American dream is to own your own business.
Right.
The challenge of having that American dream is staying in business.
Right.
Opening a business is important because a lot of times you get into a business field where there's a lot of competitors. So you can't really, it's called market sabotage. So you kind of, you flooded the market with the same product. So it's very important to open a business. But anybody can open a business, which the business we're talking about. Let's say a person has an example. I have a friend in my neighborhood that has a landscape business, and he went out and purchased a lawnmower. He went out and purchased a weed eater, and he spent like $1,800, and he only made $800 for the year.
That's a loss.
So that was a loss, right? That's a good loss because you need landscape equipment to run that business. So he actually got all that landscape equipment for about free because you only pay taxes on what you made over the profit.
Right.
Well, there's no profit. So that means you got a business started for no cost. So that's how people can actually start a business, which we always tell people have a spare tire, Joe. It's kind of called a spare tire because you don't want to leave your job to go start a business. You want to keep a job that has the income because the income is the source that funds that business.
Right.
And that is a legal way to do it because the IRS looks at that and says, oh, they're starting a business and so forth.
Right. And if the business you're in also requires people to buy stuff,
absolutely,
one of the best places you meet people is at your work,
your workplace. Great place to meet people,
at your jobs.
And that business creates a lot of deductions that we don't think of. And I can't tell you, Joe, how many people I've spoken to in the past that never think about all their deductions. They basically go with very limited information. And so when I'm talking about deductions, we're talking about cell phone bills. We're talking about internet bills. We're talking about food, meals, because when you're on the road, it's always a meal. I always play a game with people that I kind of go to the light switch and I'll turn the light switch on and off. And my point of this conversation is that I ask them when that light switch turns off and on if you're a business owner. Well, the answer is that light switch never turns off.
Right.
But unfortunately, people that have a business today, they turn that light switch off and turn it back on. That means they're probably not going to be very successful being self-employed, because if that light switch ever turns off, that means you lose money. Yeah. So if that light switch never turns off, that means our mileage is deductible. Even sometimes when we take a vacation, that's tax deductible because a certain second, sometimes someone starts speaking to you about what you do. That now becomes an advertisement. That
becomes a meeting.
There you go. See,
and you guys will probably see in the news when these CEOs and these big corporations are having their business conferences
huge tax write-off.
in Hawaii, or they're having their business conferences in Tahiti or in Jamaica, in Barbados, Costa Rica.
We should go there sometime. We should. That could be a business write-off.
Business write-off. We have a business meeting in Costa Rica. And that's how they're able to write those expenses
Absolutely.
as business expenses. And I think is it something like if a day before or a day after or something like that the business meeting, or
I don't know all those rules. I mean, because if you're always self-employed, anything you do. I mean, if I take a trip with somebody and I take them out to dinner, that's tax write-off. If I take him on a jet ski, which I do take a lot of times with my friends on jet skis, and I'll just rent the jet ski for a couple hours, that's a tax write-off. If I take him on a golf course, that's a tax write-off. So anything I do with that individual is a tax deduction. So that means I want to entertain myself, entertain somebody else in the process, and create a legal tax credit, which lowers my tax liability. See, so we have the opportunity to utilize tax deductions that we incur, but then in the process, because that's good to have. Don't get me wrong, because you want to lower your taxes, but you also want to save money. I mean, I want to keep my money, and the best way I want to keep it is lower the taxes, but save it. So I have to figure out is where can I save my money so I can have enough money. See, because the goal is when you retire or whenever you call quits is you have to have a certain amount of money. And we talked about this last week a little bit about
our financial independence number.
Absolutely, right? And you're going to get some videos during the week about what we created, so be on the lookout for that. But we talk about, where to save that money. Well, the greatest thing is when you have resources that we have accessible to us as a financial advisor, Joe, we can find funds that fit each person. So whether they're young, old, even kids, I mean, I think we were talking about this last week as well. Retire your child.
Next week we're gonna do a video on how you can retire your child.
Yeah, I hope that just gets you excited.
Yes, I'm gonna say that again. How can you retire? Okay, retire your child. I'm not talking about retire grandma. Retire your child, your kid. Okay, how can you retire your child? We're going to talk about that next week. Next week's show at 6 p.m. We're going to be talking about that. So right now, let's see if we can answer some questions. You guys, if you have questions, go ahead and shoot. shoot your questions.
Well, I know there's a question that came up by a gentleman talking about what's a short-term investment. When you talk about short-term investment, you have to think about, first of all, is what do I want to get out of that short-term investment?
Okay.
So, because remember, for anything that has risk, there's reward.
Right.
There could also be a negative reward. See, we don't think about those things. We just want to think about how much money we can make. Mm-hmm. So, like right now, the market is a perfect opportunity to invest. You know why, Joe?
Why?
Because the market's down. See, when the market's down, you can actually buy a lot of stuff on sale. Mm-hmm. So it's a perfect time to invest because right now the market's down, which in the next 6 months will be going up so you can make a huge profit. Mm-hmm. But if you're talking about investing things for short term, well, they don't give you a lot of options. It's either stocks or stocks.
Yeah.
See, I didn't say mutual fund because mutual fund's not built for a short-term investment vehicle. They're long-term.
Maybe they don't know
what be more specific.
Fund is, yeah.
Well, the good thing is stock is like this. Let's say if you're not familiar with stocks, let me explain, educate. Let's say you want to buy stocks, so you call up a stockbroker on the phone. Mm-hmm. First of all, you better have the stock that you want to buy in your mind because they're not going to tell you what to buy. You need to know. Mm. That means you need to do your homework. Okay. So you call up the stockbroker on the phone. You have $1,000 to invest. The stockbroker says, okay, what do you want to buy? You tell him what you want to buy. The good thing about that stockbroker is there's no relationship, and they're going to get paid when you buy those stocks. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say those stocks do bad. You call that same stockbroker number. Now, you won't get the same guy because there's a lot of people working because they're not working that way. Because there's no relationship. It's just a phone call.
Right.
You sell the stockbroker gets paid again. So that's how stocks work. So you buy one company, example, Walmart. Right? We all know Walmart. Probably been there at least once in our life. Mm-hmm. Well, how a mutual fund works different. Because when you're investing into a mutual fund, you're buying several different companies. Most mutual funds have over 150 different companies within them. Okay. Example, we have a great fund in Franklin Templeton that has over 970 different positions. What that means to you, Joe, or anybody that gets involved with mutual funds is that $1,000 buys shares in 970 different companies.
Okay. So now instead of investing that whole 1,000 in just one company,
correct.
Now you're able to what's called, I guess, you diversify.
Correct.
You diversify that investment into 970 different companies. 7 different companies.
And the benefit of that is, Joe, because we're smart, but we can't foresee the future. Nobody can.
Right.
If that's the case, we wouldn't be sitting here today. I promise you, we'd be in Tahiti. All right. So we can't foresee the future. What that means is that when the market's up in one area, it's down in another. Mm-hmm. So if our money is diverse among several different companies, then we have less risk, which that's important. So we have less risk. I mean, we have the ability to make more profits. Okay. So a mutual fund is always going to give somebody a better investment return over the long term.
Over the long term.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you're saying I want to put in now and take out in a year, go find a stockbroker and good luck. Because that's how I look at it, right? Because most time you don't buy for a year. You just can't do it. In fact, what you don't think about is when you're buying, you have the sales charge. So if it costs me 5.5% and it makes me 8% for the year, was that really worth my risk?
No.
So I should have just kept it in the mattress where I had a lump in the bed and I got a crick neck. So you have to give your money some time. So we say at least 2 years, leave it there, because that allows you to recoup the sales charge, but also allows you to make a little bit of profit on the money based on what happens in the market at the time.
Okay. All right. Well, Todd, I hope that answered your question, about what's the best way to invest $1,000 for short term. And the other thing is also you say short term, and what may be short term in your mind may be different, of what the short term is in our minds.
Right.
So again, this is why we want we like to sit down with people and find out exactly what they're looking for, and also find out exactly what's best for them depending on their goals and the things they're looking to do. We're not gonna stay on here for too long.
As much as we like to, though.
We can sit here and talk about this all
day,
all night long. Mm-hmm. And but again, we want to keep this short. We're not too short, but we don't want to keep it too long. But what we like to do is just kind of extend the invitation to you. Look, this is what we do. This is what we like to talk about. This is what we like to do. What we can do is, we can come and sit with you personally. We can come and do one of these talks or presentation at your workplace. Maybe you can get your coworkers together, and we can come and just simply educate you guys, and then see how we can help you. So the two options is it personally, just shoot me a message in my inbox, or you can schedule something, with the group, whether it's a group of family members, group of co-workers, because at the end of the day, this is information that we can all use, we all need. All right.
Absolutely.
So we are here every Friday. We may change the time to 7 p.m. just to give people a little bit of time to get home and get settled in. So 6 p.m. We're just gauging that to see. We think it may be too early. So I think for sure next time we're going to be here 7 p.m. Okay, so Fridays at 7 p.m. we'll be here, and just we're here for you guys. We're here to serve you guys. Do me a favor, like the video, comment. Send us questions, concerns, suggestions. If you want there's a specific topic you want us to talk about, definitely do that, and we'll be sure to help answer any questions that you may have. Of course, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Derilus TV, because that's where we'll have this loaded up. If you want to watch it later on, you can do that also. And don't forget, next week we're doing a special one for parents. Parents, how to retire your child.
Oh man,
how to retire your child, and that is huge. That is huge if you're a parent.
That gets me so excited. All right,
so we hope to see you guys next week. Again, don't forget to share this with your loved ones. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.